up, say 600 fish. That'll give us roughly about 100 grams worth. That'll keep the wolf from the door, I suppose. The empty pots are always the heaviest ones.
Clocks bite. The Southern Ocean and the low-pressure storm front has arrived. Skipper Clive's strategy of stick and stay and make it pay might need some finessing.
35, 40 knots from the north. That's why we're down here on the bottom side, so we're anchored up in the lee of it, but you can see it's still a bit choppy.
Deckhand Zach has never experienced weather like this before.
Not getting blown off. Being such a smaller fella, I've got no weight behind me. Make sure I've got hold of one of those clay pots at all times.
Then again, he's never been this far south before.
We're in the remote southwest wilderness. At the moment, we're probably the only boat that's around here as far as I know, so if something goes wrong, it's, yeah, there's no one here to call for help immediately.
The rough weather can play havoc with lobsters. It makes them cautious, less mobile. Catching them becomes harder.
Just have to wait and see what the weatherman says.
Clive is trying to decide whether to drop his 60 pots here or move to a more sheltered location.
Yeah, I think we might give up on the radio. I can't quite hear it. So the weather affects the weatherman as well. We've been anchored up here and we're going to go around here where it's a bit safer and probably shoot the gear off it a bit closer. We were going to look out a little bit deeper, but I think because me and Zach, it's our first time working together, we'll just break ourselves in a bit easier and see how we both operate and build up from there. So there's a weather window to get around the coast, stick it out a bit, scrape away, and then when the weather finds up, and I'm hoping that's going to be sooner rather than later, and then we'll start catching some fish.
The port of Dover, and another lobster boat is loading up. Glenn's the skipper of Anson's Bay.
Bye-bye.
See you, mate. See you, mate.
Glenn's wife, Emma, and his two boys, Ben and Ryan, have come to say goodbye.
It's pretty hard saying goodbye to the family. You know you're going to be gone for anywhere up to a couple of weeks, so you know you're not going to see them. It's, yeah, very hard. Sort of a bit of a funny feeling. I always get a bit of a funny feeling when I'm leaving. You're going in dangerous spots. You don't know whether you're going to see them again.
Guys, have a good trip. I don't know so much about Ben, but yeah, no, Ryan misses his dad lots.
The emotional toll on families can be great.
We'll be having his 44th birthday out at sea, but that is something that happens pretty much every year. Glenn is out for his birthday. I don't know if he tries it that way so that he doesn't have to celebrate his birthday.
My boat's a 50-foot steel fishing boat, half wheelhouse. I think she was built in about 1976. And it's got a real nice big wet well in it, so we can hold a lot of fish, which that's where you make your money. So I love the whole boat. She's a beauty. I think last year I worked out we probably only done about 80 or 90 days fishing for the year, so you're on plenty of time. It's cooked great. You go away, you come back, everyone's happy. You sort of, you know, relationship don't get stale or anything like that. It's bloody good for that.
This is Jake, Glenn's deckhand.
Yeah, Jake's got a missus and a little kid. He loves his little kid. He's always talking about his little boy, so I think he's always happy to get home and see him, yeah. The more fish that we catch, the more money Jake earns. So if we have a real bad shot, I don't earn no money, Jake don't earn much money, so it all goes on a percentage of the catch.
It's probably the most painful part, I reckon. Just the first bait up on the first day of the trip. It's not much fun, but it's got to be done, I suppose. Cold and wet. You just got to deal with it, keep moving around to try and keep yourself warm. It's all worth it if you get onto a few crays. Get a decent paycheck out of the end of it.
The Anson's Bay is steaming towards Matsyka Island.
You sort of kick back and relax. You're away, you think you're pretty sure you got everything. And yeah, hopefully we're right. Hopefully the boat goes well for us, touch wood.
Famous last words. They're heading for trouble, they just don't know it yet. The crew of the Bold Contender has been hard at it for 14 hours straight.
I skipper the Bold Contender. It carries 50 pots, and we have 60 in the winter. Good looking pot, that one.
Skipper Squizzy and deckhand Tabor are targeting a different sort of lobster.
So I'm pretty happy with that. That's the best pot so far for the trip.
Smaller in size and lighter in colour, they're known as brindles.
We mainly target the brindle lobsters because we can get in and catch them quick. Most of the time they're only $5, $10 a kilo less than the red ones. So if we can catch 2 tonne in 5 days, pays dividends for us, and that's the way we like to work.
Today's price for brindles is $75 per kilo.
You're right!
But there's a problem.
You can't see them. It's that simple.
The floats, which are attached to the pots and act as locators, have been sucked underwater by a powerful tide.
So the buoys should be up like that, but the tide's boring from the northwest, so the buoys will be dragging back into the tide and eventually they'll just go and lift the surface.
At stake is potentially thousands of dollars worth of brindles.
I can't see them, Tabor can't grapple them, can't put them on the winch, I can't get the lobsters out of them, let alone set them back with fresh bait. So now the gear's down on the tide, pressure's just mounting, the stress is going through the roof. Just looks like it's game over now, I think.
The Matsaika Island swell is on the rise. And that's not good news for skipper Glenn.
Swell will have to drop off a little bit for us to get a few, I reckon. If it stays the same, we won't get much, but I reckon it will go off a little bit. Yep. When there's a lot of swell on, you've got to go a bit deeper to try and give the crays a chance to be able to walk into the pots. It makes a prick of a shot of it, really. The crays don't move as much when there's a bit of swell on. Like your pots end up getting tangled up in bull kelp and just they move about, and you don't tend to catch a real lot.
Glenn is a 5th-generation lobster man.
I remember the first boat I ever got, and I thought I knew everything. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. There's a fair bit to it.
Glenn's dad, Warren, is also still in the game.
He's bloody good fisherman and real knowledgeable. Like, I love my old man. He's, like, we've never had an argument in our life, and I worked with him for, I've been going fishing with him for bloody years.
Hobart, Tasmania, and Glenn's dad Warren is gearing up to join his son out at Matsaika Island.
Which one are you taking first, mate?
Come on, Grandad.
Age 72, Warren's the oldest skipper in the fleet. Deckhand Nigel is 56 years old, and this is their trainee deckhand, Jai.
Take that out.
Jai Kelly, he's only 19. He's very enthusiastic and a good worker.
A young fellow just starting to make his way in the industry. He comes from a fishing family. Yeah, so that's our future, these young blokes.
Well, we have 2 deckhands because both Nigel and I are too old to do it by ourselves. We've got 100 years of fishing between us and we just need a young fella to give us a helping hand.
How's the new decker going, was?
Oh, he's coming along okay. He's picking her up all the time.
Poor Billy, he lost his father.
A couple of years ago now.
Yeah, his father was a fisherman. His father would be proud of him. I know his mother is.
Warren and Nigel are taking Jai under their wings.
Bye, mate. Have a good. Hello.
The Barralee is away.
Even after 56 years of fishing, I